The Honourable Member for Warringah.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I rise to speak on the issue of plastic pollution that is overrunning our street and our beaches. Over the last 10 years, there has been a large shift in conversations to address the issues posed by plastic pollution, with Australians united in the fact that it poses great risk for the future. Despite this, plastic pollution has continued to increase exponentially, with the amount of plastics in the ocean expected to triple in the next 20 years. Waste forms in islands in the Pacific, and the Worldwide Fund for Nature estimates that 90% of all seabirds and 52% of all sea turtles ingest plastics, to name but a few. The breakdown of plastics and microplastic pose further risk to the marine life, leading to blockages in their digestive system, malnutrition and death. It really is no surprise that many are so concerned. Plastic pollution is a global crisis that is harming our environment, our wildlife and ultimately ourselves, because we do ingest it in so many ways as a result of how prevalent it is in our oceans. Now, for years, Australians have been promised and encouraged to reduce plastic waste and increase recycling rates. However, today we're faced with the prospect of over 12,000 tonnes of recycled plastics heading to landfill. Last November, Red Cycle, a program aimed at recycling soft plastics, mainly from our big supermarket chains, Coles, Woolworths and Aldi, collapsed after plastic bags were revealed to be stockpiled in warehouses across the country. Since then, hundreds of millions of plastic bags have been sent to landfill while we wait for a scheme to restart. However, even if infrastructure was in place to recycle the copious amounts of soft plastics in Australia, the demand for the recycled products would not meet the increased supply. Therefore, while it's important measures are put in place to ensure soft plastics in circulation are recycled, we must look at ways to reduce the amount of soft plastics produced and increase the use of recycled products. So, therefore, I support the call for a tax or a levy on the use of virgin plastics. We need to make sure recycled plastics are more cost competitive to drive down fossil fuel use and create value for the circular economy. In the UK, they've introduced a plastic tax of around $350 per tonne of plastic, and even there still is demand. The UK are also proposing mandatory reusable foodware from 2025. They aren't the only ones. Across Europe and the US, countries are implementing bans and taxes on single-use foodware and coffee cups. We need to catch up and demonstrate leadership. We must also consider minimum recycled content and standards. We should also look at product stewardship schemes to make the producer of the plastic liable for its collection, recycling or disposal. I welcome the commitments of our state governments, including in New South Wales, to ban some single-use plastic items, but we need more to be done, and we need national-level regulation to drive change in behaviour of big importing businesses. We also need innovative and businesses such as Devolver in my electorate of Warringah, which is aimed at getting away from single-use takeaway containers, providing shops and customers with reusable takeaway containers. We have all sorts of new ideas and ways to replace it. We need demonstration stands on our local. We need to get education on the local visible in our community. Community groups are working at a local level and they're working towards educating people on plastics and waste and in order to change behaviours. Last year I was visited by a group called Ocean Action Pod, a group seeking to raise awareness about the impact of waste through a pop-up multimedia education experience and online activities. I fully support such great initiatives. There are many other great local initiatives in my electorate, including the Strawkling Crew and Northern Beaches Clean-up Crew, to name just a couple. Locally, we've implemented the Roadmap to Zero to raise awareness of waste, as well as provide positive and proactive ways for businesses, community groups and individuals to reduce their waste footprint. There's so much more to be done, especially as we find ourselves not dining in but dining out more during the pandemic and in our way of life. So I call on businesses in Warringah to sign up to the Roadmap to Zero and reduce our waste footprint.
The question is the House to now adjourn. I give the call to the honourable member.